So we're gonna start this AMA, and you guys are welcome, guys and gals, welcome to ask anything about chart raiders. I keep very tight-lipped about it, but we're getting very close to launch. We've missed a few launch days recently, but that's no problem because we're just wanting to put as much tech into chart raiders as we can, as much launch features as we can. So it's been purposely done that we've delayed chart raiders a little bit just to get everything that we want in there for the alpha launch. So we're going to officially start this very first AMA for chart raiders. And again, I won't be answering every question because there's some things I will just defer to and say, I can't talk about that yet because they're features that we haven't discussed publicly or things like that. But unless I defer it, we're kind of an open grounds here for questions. So that goes for you and Yvette and Jude as well. Although you guys are part of the project, you know most of what's happening, but you're welcome to ask questions too. Yvette is our lead sound engineer, so he works on all things sound engineering. And then as we move forward in the future, Yvette will be taking a role in the esports side of things as we're opening up a big esports section for chart raiders as well. And Jude acts as kind of one of my right hands. I have two right hands in chart raiders, and he's been helping me manage everything from strategizing the launch plans, everything that Jude and I, we just work on things every day together. So kind of he's like I am. He kind of wears all hats. So Jude and Yvette they've been with chart raiders right from the start, right? Like these are two people who are coaches and captains, and they're also two people who I said I want them to be a part of the chart raiders business operations for the foreseeable future. So that's why I invited Yvette and Jude here, because they're critical pieces of chart raiders. We're a team, and chart raiders is a project of passion. Like we all are day traders. So, before this all started, we're just all day traders and we all just fall in love with it. And, getting Yvette and Jude and seeing who they really are from my perspective as Cotton Candy TA, seeing how focused they were, seeing how business minded they were, it was like, okay, well, these have to be two people I take in the company with me as executive members, board of director members when I open the company. So that's Yvette and Jude and why they're going to be up here with me today. And yeah, they all have kind of a different thing because I see everything from a standpoint of I have all the pieces on my chessboard. So I'm moving every piece at once. So I answer some questions, I vaguely answer others. Yvette's standpoint is very different. He sees things from a very creative side because he makes the music for chart raiders. So he has a very different opinion and outlook on these things than I do. And he's a huge part of the creative direction, right? Like that audio that he makes, that's one of our sight and sound, right? Like that's all we have. So he's 50% of every emotion that you see in chart raiders. So and then Jude, he also sees the behind the scene operation. So his outlook is different too. Like myself, he wears many hats, but Jude sees it from a point of he's almost like everybody in this chat. He sees just enough to keep him in the loop, but not everything that I know. So he's very much almost like both sides of the fence, me and the community. So even though he's helping me with everything, he sees it from the community's perspective, but also understands it from my perspective. So he's like a really good bridge opinion as well. So yeah, I mean, I guess we can just I don't know if there's anything Yvette and Jude, you guys want to add to that before we start taking questions?
Not really. It's just been a thrill to be a part of it. And yeah, it's been awesome for me to finally be able to kind of use my music talents in a way that, I don't know, like I've always been a drummer and part of bands and stuff, but I've never really gotten to like compose, but I've always been interested in it and I've always been pretty good at it. So it's just been a thrill for me to be able to kind of take my first real stab at, making music like this and creating emotion. And it's been it's been a lot of fun.
The only thing I'll add is if you guys haven't checked out the soundtrack that's posted on Chart Raiders YouTube, definitely do, because Ivor is making some killer music and soundtracks for Chart Raiders.
That's ridiculous.
I love it. It's so good.
I literally work out to it sometimes. Like it's ridiculous. I even didn't know that before now, but I'll toss it on when I'm working out, and I'm like, yep. All right, let's go. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go through the first couple things I see in the chat here, and then I'm gonna get penguins. I'm just gonna say penguins. I know it's spelled not penguins, but we're just gonna call you penguins. And then I'm gonna get penguins in here because he had raised his hand. So anybody who doesn't know, you can use the raise your hand feature, and you can use your microphone to join in and speak with us as well. So just go ahead and do the raise hand, and we'll take people in order of, you know, them raising their hands, and that way they can use their mics, or you can simply just type in the chat bar and hit the chat pop out window. Will this get recorded? Yes, Thunderbolt. It's getting recorded. It'll be put up on YouTube. I'm gonna just scroll up a bit here. Long time no see, Cotton. Yep, I'm still here working every day. I'm here literally 14 hours a day. I'm watching everything day by day. So I'm still here. I'm just chart raiders. How long until public release? So I guess it depends what you mean by public, because we have an alpha phase coming out, and the alpha phase will be something that we onboard people to test the tech. So the point of our alpha phase is to make sure that we can handle the audience and put 10 people on, put 20 people on, put 50 people on, put 100 people on. So it'll be a very limited release. There's going to be benefits to being a part of the alpha. So I do stress that people do join the alpha if they can, or do whatever they can to be a part of it, because there are things that will be released in alpha on your profile that will only be available for alpha. So it'll be a very limited thing where you're going to be able to get a title on your profile, and you won't be able to get that title outside of alpha. So it's something that, you know, to reward those who do make it into alpha, I wanted to give them something special that would further going forward in the future of chart raiders, that would be like a profile icon that would show, hey, I was here from alpha. I was one of the first 100, which is really cool. It's really cool. And there was another question. What is chart raiders? Somebody asked. I'm going to answer that last. I want Jude and Yvette to answer that first, and then I'm going to answer that last. I'll let you guys pick, because I want to get that question out of the way, because I know there's people here who are like, oh, you talk about chart raiders, but what is chart raiders?
You want us to go?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ooh. What is chart raiders? In a sentence, a software that will literally revolutionize day trading, in my opinion. But it's multifaceted. It has lots of elements, and there'll be elements available in the alpha and the beta, and that will continue to grow. And it's going to be a place, I think it's going to be the place where people turn in sort of the day trading industry. And it will also, I think, help sort of popularize day trading more. But it will be the place where people turn to learn how to day trade, and just everything day trading related. Chart raiders will be that place. You say day trading, you're going to think of chart raiders. I guess it's a bit of a wishy-washy answer, but that's what I would say, like, chart raiders is. But it's ultimately asking what actually is it, like, tangibly. I mean, it's a software, it's a platform. There's going to be lots of things on there, like the skill tree, to improve your trading and learn. There's going to be leaderboards where we can kind of compete against each other in the community. One of the big things, part of that is rewarding people as well, and rewarding the community. So there's going to be very good reward systems within chart raiders that benefit anyone and everyone for just being on chart raiders. And even if you're trading and you have no idea what cotton candy is, you have no idea what chart raiders is going to draw people in, because you're not going to not want to be a part of chart raiders, because it would just give you benefits regardless. So if you're already trading and you're not on chart raiders, you're missing out. So when chart raiders comes out, it's going to change everything.
Yvette, how would you describe it?
Fairly similarly, honestly. Like it's just going to be your home. It's going to be your home for everything. Yeah,
I would agree with that. So Yvette and Jude are both on NDAs and are both, employees of Chart Raiders now. So Chart Raiders started out a year ago. So they're only going to say a very little bit about this, because they're probably like, oh, I don't know what to say, which is great. Like that's awesome. Like, you guys don't have to say much. It's always good to get everybody's opinion. But so Chart Raiders, it started a year ago, and the whole idea behind Chart Raiders was that I create something, and this even dates back to when I first started my kind of vision with this. 6 years ago, I opened up a YouTube channel, or however long ago it was, 5, 6, 7, I don't even remember anymore. I opened up a YouTube channel and started teaching this stuff. And I was always under the impression that if I can show the world my science that I had figured out, and if I can show everybody how day trading can be looked at differently, I would one day be able to use that power and gain the respect of people and use that power to create something even better. And then that has always stayed the same since day one. Since the first day I picked up a microphone, and I talked to my wife about this and told her the same thing. I said, if I do this, I'm doing it for something much bigger. I'm going to have one bullet in the chamber, and one day I'll decide when to use it. It's also the reason I've never taken sponsorships. It's also the reason I'm not somebody who's doing day trading content creation. So that's one sentence: day trading content creation. Or I'll just brevity it to content creation. I'm not somebody who did content creation to make an income out of content creation. I'm not somebody who ever needed to do that. Like, I have a master's in architecture right out of university. I was already making over 6 figures a year. It was never meant to be something that was to supplement an income, right? So this has always gone back to like the original ethos of why I do what I do, because one day I knew that if I could put enough material out there, and if I could gain enough respect from communities across the world day trading, I would be able to take one shot in this industry to try to change things. And then there's kind of an unfortunate thing that's happening with day trading right now, which ties into chart raiders. And the unfortunate thing that's happening is, and I talked about this a little bit last night in the exclusive tier with people in the exclusive tier. And it's kind of, unfortunately, and has been since I first started, and I saw this right away. It has been dying as an industry. Day trading has been something that has unfortunately turned into, over the years, the same thing as drop shipping. Like, it is being looked at now as, and this is kind of a cancer that's eroding through the industry. Influencers are repackaging courses. Exchanges are signing athletes just to get more signups. They're charging huge fees. They're draining people's accounts. It's the problem doesn't just exist unilaterally. It's not like we have a bunch of weird influencers who are patching material. It's this whole entire poisonous web that's been cast around day trading, where everything from the highest level exchanges and trading view and all these different products that are out there in the world, from a business standpoint and a corporate standpoint, these exchanges, trading view, they are making so much money. It's obnoxious. They're making hundreds of millions of dollars a week, and they're not doing anything with it other than to just continue to line their pockets. And they're not revolutionizing the industry. And like, if I was running an exchange and I was making that kind of money, I would be starting to change things. Unfortunately, that's not the landscape of day trading today. Today, the landscape of day trading is it's almost turned into like drop shipping for business people. So for people who are already billionaires, they say, how could I make another 500 million? I know, we'll just open an exchange, and then another new exchange is opened. And then even going all the way down to trading view with the amount of ridiculous and obnoxious features that nobody wants, but makes them sell more subscriptions, and all the way to the influencers and the people. Like, it's such a poisonous web. It goes to Instagram, it goes to Twitter, it goes to pump and dump groups, it goes to Discord communities. Even this Discord community is one of them, not in a bad way, but we do unfortunately fall under the umbrella of a community in day trading. Thankfully, we're one of the good ones, one of the only good ones out there, and we've kept it this way for 6 years. We're focused on trading, we're focused on sciences, we're focused on the career. We're not focused on getting clicks and views and spreading the word and things like that. Like, we have an open community here, and everybody's here just to make money and have a better life for themselves. So this ethos that I took with day trading, there's almost this very cynical stance I've always had. Now, whether this is accurate or not, I always have felt like day trading is about to die. I've always felt that unless somebody does something, day trading will one day die, because it's being turned into Facebook dropshipping. It's being turned into an industry that just lures people in, sucks their money, and spits them out. And the only people who win are the institutions who have enough money to push people around. So that's the unfortunate truth about day trading, and like a big reason why I'm so passionate about chart raiders, because I feel like chart raiders can be one of the things that might be able to save day trading and put it back into this lane that it should be in, where people can be empowered to make an income for themselves. People can step away from the system, the oppression of governments, all this crazy stuff that's happening in our world. Like, day trading can free people. So that's, why I've always done it. And that's kind of, Fachi asked, like, what's your vision for chart raiders in the future? Like, this is the ethos of why it exists. And, the vision for chart raiders in the future is that, chart raiders started as just myself. I started as one person with an idea, and then along came Sean, my head developer, and he wanted to be a part of it. And then so he reached out to me over a year and a half ago almost now and asked like, hey, I want to be a part of this. You think of it, I can build it. And we did. And that's where it started. And now, we fast forward to today, as a one-man team by myself and hiring the first person, which was Sean. We're now a team of almost 12 people. And I myself am moving out of North America across the world to into either Portugal or another country to open up offices for Chart Raiders. So Chart Raiders behind the scenes as a business has developed and gone crazy. There's so many eyes on it behind the scenes. There's so many exchanges who approach me. There's so many people, and I always just kind of kick them off and shoo them away and say, they're like, I will not sell my soul, and I will not sell Chart Raiders vision unless it's something I believe in, right? So like there's a ton of heat and interest, and people are watching Chart Raiders, and it's this really cool thing. And what is Chart Raiders? I'll answer that question before I go on to reading these comments and taking people on the stage. Chart Raiders is a software, and it's something that is going to combine a lot of elements, everything from gamifying day trading to reinventing the way that we look at trading on a screen, right? So the things that you interact with every day, everything from trading view to your exchanges, we're reinventing that. We're modernizing it. We're taking a new approach and what day trading should look like, which is honestly something exchanges should have done 5-10 years ago, instead of copy pasting everybody else's code and making basically the same thing with a different name. Whether it's Binance, whether it's, KuCoin, it doesn't matter. You're literally looking at options of visuals at that point. You're right clicking your desktop and clicking night mode. And that's all these exchanges are. They're just copy paste of each other. And it's amazing to me that with all their money, all their knowledge, all their power, that they haven't taken the stance to say, let's change things. But that's because they're business people. They're not day traders. That's the thing about this project is Chart Raiders is made by day traders for day traders. So it's a software that's going to be a web app, a desktop app, a mobile app that, again, it's going to reinvent the way you trade. It's going to be a different visual approach. Everything we do on exchanges, it's going to have gamified elements in the future. It mixes in a huge esports scene where there's teams being built to support people in the future and to create media broadcasting for it and create this great story around Chart Raiders. It has everything from lore to understand what the Chart Raiders world looks like, to skill trees to help day traders become better, to give them a direct path of what to look at. So it has a skill tree in it where we have lessons that I haven't even released. We've got like 70 unreleased lessons. There's Butterfly Effect 2 and 3 already ready to go. I just didn't put them on YouTube because I've known for over a year now that Chart Raiders was coming, and then it would go to Chart Raiders. So there's a skill tree with stuff that's going to revolutionize the industry. Like when Chart Raiders comes out and launches, there's lessons in there that people haven't even theories and concepts I've released that make people so accurate. It's insane. Like we are now in mentorship chat and in exclusive tier, nailing trades to the dollar on like an every single day basis, catching the most impossible knives. And that material that allows people to do that is being launched on Chart Raiders. So that's also going to revolutionize the way we trade just day to day, because a skill tree has such a massive path of upgrades on it in terms of what's available out there for cotton candy YouTube content to what's going to come out. I've kept it off of YouTube for this reason. And so that's, a big part of it. It's going to help people train them. So whether you're brand new to day trading or whether you're like a seasoned pro, the skill tree is going to be your home. Like that's going to be somewhere where you go and you study like crazy. On top of that, we have this thing called Chart Doctor, which is an interactive quiz platform. So imagine interactive quizzes reimagined for the future. I'm going to be releasing a full video on Chart Doctor soon and what that looks like. A place where we can have rewards. So the community trades together, and a place where we can reward them. And all the money that the exchanges charge for fees, we can take back and give to the community. So once a month, you're going to get this kind of like payout or whatever you want to call it, just for being on Chart Raiders. And it's just taking the money that the exchanges take from people and just giving it back to them once a month at the end of the month. So, you're just trading your normal trading, and all of a sudden, first or the second of the month comes around and you have a bonus. $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 or $50,000, however much scalability you trade with is going to be reflected back to you. And everything from tying the way we look at day trading visually on an everyday basis. And I know that sounds vague and people are going to have questions about that, but that's something I'll just defer to not continue answering, because those are pieces that haven't been announced yet to the public. So everything from the way we look at day trading, the way we interact with it, and to introducing gamified elements, to having a skill tree where people who are new or super pro can continuously learn new things and always make themselves better. Interactive quizzes, leaderboards where people are competing against each other for monthly prizes based on performance, based on how often they trade. We have an account panel with stat tracking systems to help you get better, as well as other bonuses where you have a digital identity and things that connect to all of these things that I've mentioned, pieces inside of that account panel that will help your experiences in other spots. If your account panel, think of like a video game like World of Warcraft. You get better gear, you're stronger. In our version, we have our account panel. You get upgrades and accomplish certain landmarks and milestones. You actually get bonuses to your trading experience. And we're not talking like, oh, you get an extra 25% off your trading fees. No, we're talking about things like being able to see, and I'll just mention one very lightly. We're talking about things like if you get your account panel upgraded enough, you're going to be able to see where most community members are marking their levels, for example. So if you have enough progress in your account, you launch your trading view, you're going to be able to see, oh, look, the community likes this level. So there's going to be levels drawn on your chart that are reflected back that say, oh, cool, look at this awesome feature. Now we can see what the community is doing. And I'll leave it at that for the account panel. I wanted to give kind of one small teaser, but there's that, and there's like 50 other things just like that. Well, I don't want to say just like that. I want to say 50 other ideas that are all revolving around the account panel and this kind of unified experience across everything. So, without talking about too much of the future of chart raiders and disclosing too many things that I shouldn't, because we have so much we're working on that we haven't announced. That's just to give people an idea of the amount of reach Chart Raiders has. It's not just this stat tracking website. It's so much more. And like for people who have seen it, like the coaches, they can only say like it'll change the way everybody day trades. And I'm a strong believer of that because people have seen what Chart Raiders is behind the scenes and they're just blown away. So that's a quick, not so quick explanation of what Chart Raiders is. So yeah, I'm going to get to just like reading some of these comments here, and I don't know, Jude or Ivan, if you have anything to put on top of that.
Quite a few hands as well. We got quite a few hands.
Yeah, we're getting lots. How soon will I see results on Chart Raiders from a $50 account? Spy ass? I don't know. It depends how good of a trader you are, I suppose. We don't do anything like that. We don't do anything like taking your money and trading for you or copy trading or anything. It's not that kind of platform. How will esports work in Chart Raiders? We're going to have teams, and we're going to be making a big media house inside the offices, and we're going to start broadcasting exactly like they do in esports and with gaming. We're going to start creating teams, and those teams are going to be competing for big prizes. And yep. How do you become part of the alpha? That's an easy one. You have to have your MEXC link signed up. So there's a MEXC link, and we're tracking everybody who signed up. We're tracking things like how often they're trading, because one of the points of alpha is that we need people who are actively trading who can give us good feedback. So we need to see that, okay, if we're considering this person for an alpha like Spy, if you say applied for the alpha, we're going to say, okay, what's your MEXC account? We're going to go look at how often you're trading, because we need people who can give us feedback. So we need people who are trading daily, all the time, regularly. And that's one of the big metrics that we're looking at, because it's more about us connecting with community members who are using our platform at the same time while trading, so they can give us that feedback and say, this is cool, this is not cool, I didn't like this, I do like that. So obviously, connecting your MEXC account, and for the beta too, like this goes forward for everything. You have to have a MEXC account connected, or whatever exchange that we decide to support in the future. We're not exclusive only to MEXC. We are at the moment, but then that can always change, because we're looking at this as what's the best for our community. And that's always the direction that I've gone in with everything. So today it might be MEXC, tomorrow it might be Binance, but not saying that literally tomorrow it's going to be Binance. I'm just using that as an example. So for now, just make sure you have your MEXC account connected and you're trading on it. Even if you have to make a new account because you're not sure, just make a new account. There's no reason not to. Can you speak a little bit about making day trading fun? Really interested in knowing. Yeah, so this is one that I won't get too much into, other than I think that, answering what Chart Raiders is and seeing how much it's interconnected across all of these pieces of what day trading, the vision for day trading going forward, what the whole package is going to be. I think that's where you see that, how is it going to be fun? We're not, when we launch the features that we want to, and we completely change the visual landscape of how people are trading every day, that's where the fun's going to come in. Would Chart Raiders be a sting to the global elite? Chart Raiders is going to have the biggest bullseye on its back. As soon as it's released, I'm pretty sure that every single exchange is either going to try to acquire us, and if they can't, they will try to burn us or copy us. So yeah, it's definitely going to have a target on its back. Now, whether that becomes good or bad, I don't really care. I can withstand that kind of heat, but I already have for 6 years, but I guess we'll see. A question to be answered in the future.
Good thing we got a great community behind us, I'd say.
Yeah, our community won't let us fail. Our community is, yeah. What part of Chart Raider stands out to you the most? Skill tree for me. Skill tree because it's not the most complex piece, but it is one of the most important. Being able to guide people, it kind of brings everybody to the same point. Like if you have an account on Chart Raiders and you can see the skill tree, it subverts all of the questions. It just gets rid of everybody's unanswered things. It gets rid of the point to right now in our community. For example, we have new traders coming in every single day and they ask, oh, what about this level? What about that level? That's kind of like the baseline for communications, is everybody's trying to kind of find some common middle ground or some lower level ground, that because of the amount of new people that come in versus how many people. So like if every time we have 10 new community members, if only one of them sticks around because they actually had the grit to push through level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then you end up with like one really good trader, and you still have 9 or 10 other, beginner traders that come into this space. And that's okay. That's like any career. That's like anything out there. People, they go, they work for 2 weeks, they try it, they don't like it, they move on. No problem. But the point of the skill tree is that everybody will be able to operate at an extremely high level. So the baseline of where the community exists right now gets pushed up like 4, 5, 6 levels. So the baseline of understanding, when people are using that skill tree, the baseline becomes extremely high. And what that means is that when your baseline is higher, people are progressing beyond that baseline. So if you can raise the baseline of what people do on a day-to-day basis in terms of learning and communicating, you all of a sudden open the doors for people to become rapidly profitable, because now the questions that are being asked are more advanced, they're more in depth, they're more fulfilling to better trades. You see what I mean? So when you raise that baseline, everybody's profits skyrocket. What do you guys think about the standout features so far, the stuff that we can talk about, Yvette and Jude?
Well, it's 100% skill tree.
100%, right?
Yeah,
I agree.
Close. Yeah, it's close because everything's awesome, but no, it's 100% skill tree.
Yeah,
I love a skill tree too. That Skyrim skill tree was the one that sold me on skill trees, and I think this one's going to be the best skill tree that's out there. Give people financial freedom in a skill tree.
Right? That's the thing. That's it right there. It's a skill tree that you can grind like a game, but this skill tree gives you a career in the future and makes you money. Like that's the big difference, right?
Yeah.
How can someone make the best out of Chart Raiders? Is it all based on teachings of cotton? So the skill tree and the material we put is, but I mean, like anybody can join Chart Raiders. You could be an indicator trader and join Chart Raiders. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not like, we have our community here, so I keep our community very much like, let's talk about things cotton, so it doesn't derail too much. But like really, when Chart Raiders releases, like everybody's welcome. Everybody's 100% welcome, right? Yeah. Let's get some people who have requests, like Penguins. I'm going to invite him to speak for a minute before we keep going down. Let's get Penguins in here. What's up, Penguins?
Hello.
Hey, man.
What's up? I got a question. I got 2 questions.
Sure, man.
Do you have a set release for release date for alpha or full release? And when are you going to release that date if you do?
So it was actually originally supposed to be already released by now. It was actually supposed to be released about a week ago. But we're just trying to get as much as we can in the alpha before we launch it. So we're not playing catch up, because once you launch something, and this is something I'm starting to learn as, running a company as a CEO and having employees and everything. Once you launch that, you can't turn that switch off. And if you do, you kind of lose the focus of the community. So we're trying to get it to a point where enough features are in alpha that can carry naturally through to the beta, that can carry naturally through to the public launch. So instead of entering alpha and staying in a 9-month beta, we want to take that time to enter alpha so that beta can be 2 months and that public launch can be fast tracked. Because this is the way that you fast track a public launch, is that you spend more time in development. So instead of dragging it out in terms of alpha beta and people are just hanging there and waiting, we're making it so that, yeah, as soon as alpha launches, it's like alpha's there, bang, it hits, we've already got our beta date. And then it's like 6 weeks from alpha launch, bang, beta happens, which is open to this community. And then beta's going to happen and bang, we'll go into season 1 a few months after. You know what I mean? Instead of prematurely launching it and we sit in an alpha state for 9 months and nobody gets access. So I haven't given an official date yet, but it's coming pretty soon. I just don't want to give a date until we have like a very specific, because we are trying to get it to that point.
Okay. And then the second question was, so right now you have it so you connect your Mexi account, which is mainly trading crypto.
Yes.
But what about for people like me? I trade 5 days a week trading with prop firms.
Yep. Yep.
How would you be able to give a plan for that with chart raiders or?
Yep. So we're in crypto right now because we're just in like early stages of releasing, but we're going to be going into all markets, which is going to be a really nice addition for everybody. So we're going to be going into Forex. We're going to be going into stocks. Yeah. All markets, commodities. Yeah.
Since Mexi tracks your trades, how would you be able to do that with prop firms, like and connect it to your chart raiders account? Or
Well, I
do
don't
you have a
think
plan for
we're
that?
going to get into tackling prop firms. Prop firms and funded accounts are something I don't personally believe in. I think it's a business model that it really helps those prop firms allow funded accounts to exist. I'm not a believer in that. So for that reason, we probably won't get into it because then we'd have to go make backdoor deals with companies that I already believe are shady. And that's something that I won't do. And that's something that I'm going to stay away from. So, if going down that path of starting to make business connections with prop firms, that circles back to being a part of the problem, not being something that fixes the problem. Prop firms are a business to make money. They've a very clever way to make money. And yes, they do help people, but ultimately I think people are better off doing it on their own than getting funded money from backdoor businesses. I'm not a fan of prop firms, but maybe that'll change in the future. But for now, I'm just gonna steer clear from them, and unless there's like a really smart reason. If I was to ever take on a prop firm or start getting into funded accounts, it would have to make a lot of sense for my community because I wouldn't do it as a business decision. I wouldn't do it based on money. Like a prop firm could approach me and be like, "Oh, well, we'll give you $200 million," and I would be like, "So, I have people offering me money to be on chart raiders all the time. I don't need. I don't need that kind of extra money that's not going to help the community. Like I don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to create the solution." So yeah, I mean that might change in the future, but for now it's not something I'm even entertaining because I don't believe in prop firms. I don't believe in funded accounts. I think they're great business models for those who run them. Okay, we've got a few others.
Those were good questions, though, Penguin.
Yep, absolutely. Let's get head crack in here.
Hello.
Hey man,
Hey.
Yo, what's up, man? What's up, Ahive, Jude, Khan?
chilling man.
I want to say, I have a few questions.
Sure.
So to start off with chart raiders, right? The skill
Yep.
tree.
Yep.
A lot of us have already caught up on butterfly effect 2. And I remember you talking about how you have to unlock some of the lessons.
Yep.
I wanted to ask, do we have to start from the beginning if we want to see the new, very good theory that you've been making, or can we just dive right into there? Like how does that work?
So the skill tree is based on your profile. So every trade you take, everything you do inside of chart raiders, you get experience points. So you have a level associated with your profile, just like any game, right? You start level 1, you can make your all the way up to level whatever. Every time you get a level up, you get a certain amount of skill tree points. Now, you don't have to pay anything for these level ups. You don't have to do anything. Like if you create a new account on chart raiders, you're going to get 10 or 15 skill tree points, right? And then you're going to use those skill tree points. And every time you complete a lesson, you get more experience. And then you're going to be able to go into Chart Doctor and just play with Chart Doctor for free, which is like this cool new interactive quiz thing that we got with competitive leaderboards and stuff like that. And you go and you run Chart Doctor things, you're getting more XP. So like everything you do on chart raiders is generating an account level for you. It's generating experience points and you get those skill tree points. You won't be able to, you are going to have to start from 0. I know that's something that people don't like because they just want to see the new material, but there's no feasible way for us to make a system outside of just brute manual force, which is not something I'm willing to do and spend resources and time in doing. You are going to have to start from 0 and just basically rewatch the lessons, which is fine. You can mark them as complete. So you go to a lesson, you say you have your whatever your first skill tree point, you open your first node on the skill tree. There's a mark complete button. You're welcome to just hit mark complete and move on to the next skill tree point. So yeah, you can easily just pass it if you want that requirement. You don't have to watch them all like 1-to-1. So that was like a nice happy medium where there's no way I'm gonna like open an Excel sheet and just have like 6,000 community members and then everybody going forth. It's just like a constant management that I don't want to get into. They fill out this Excel sheet and they're like, oh yeah, I've watched up to this lesson. And then we have to go in their account and like, and I don't want to create a script to do that either. It's a very silly, weird, brute force manual labor thing. So yeah, and just a nice in between middle is that you just have a mark complete button. So like you can just go through your lessons, mark complete, and yeah, that's it. If you were to start at the very beginning, you open a new account, mark all as complete, you can probably get 20% of the skill tree done without having to do anything else, like without having to go on Chart Doctor, without having to complete monthly and weekly bonus tracking things that we have, and rewards and unlocks and things like that. And if you don't want to do those things, you can just pay to unlock the skill tree. So it's kind of like free to play, pay to swag is the way I like to put it. So yeah, it doesn't have any restrictions for anybody, but I just don't want to get into like the manual labor of, because it would be a never ending thing. We'd basically have this like Excel sheet that people go and put their data in, and then we'd have to like go into accounts and say like, oh, okay. And that'll never stop, because people will be like, they'll have new members who don't even know about chart raiders. They'll go on YouTube, they'll learn a bunch on YouTube, and then they'll come over. This could be like a year after release. And then they'll come and they'll find chart raiders, and they could be like, oh yeah, but I studied this stuff. It'll just be a cycle that we can never break out of. So for that reason, we're just like, nope, you start from zero, just like everybody else.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, especially if you're gonna be having a lot of new members. So they might as well just start off on chart raiders skill tree, starting from the beginning.
And one of the biggest things I wanted for that actually is so that other members, like we have a huge like sharing profile, joining teams. Like say if you want to join a team in the future, the captains are going to be able to see your profile. So we might have 10 or 20 different teams, 20 different captains, and those members are going to be able to see your profile. So we want that visibility of your profile to say like, oh, you have completed 96 out of the 180 lessons. We want to be able to track that. We want to be able to see that. And you're going to want to show that on your digital identity. It's like having a WoW profile and sharing your gear score. You know what I mean? Like you those are things that are going to make you proud to say like, I studied this material and this is who I am and how good I am, right? So that's another part of it too. Like we want that visceral visibility for not only you to share with other people, but for other people who are looking at your profile to understand where you're at. So like imagine Headcrack, you're brand new, right? And you share your profile in open chat and people see, oh, he's only done 10 lessons. They know how to direct you as well. They know exactly what to say to you. Oh, you've only done 10 lessons. You should do this next. Oh, you've done 25 lessons. This is where you are in the skill tree. Oh, you should go down this path instead for your next 5 lessons. So they can also help guide you. So it's very multifaceted in the way that we did it with the skill tree. Like there was a lot of consideration over the course of a year on how to make that skill tree work the best for people and the best for chart raiders. So yeah, it's a really cool like balancing point between everything.
Man, you really thought like all of this through. Which is pretty, and
it's been in
you know
development
what
for like a year and a half. It's been a ton of my life. I put like 16 hours a day. I'm up. Ask Jude. I'm up, or IHVAT or any of the team. I'm up at like 4 a.m. every day, and I'm here till like 9, 10, 11 at night, 7 days a week. So
well, that's exactly why it's going to be so successful. I believe in your vision, man.
Thanks, man.
And you know, when I imagine chart raiders, it's like that the title screen whenever you're signing up on the chart raiders website. It's like this it's like this destroyed building signifying the destroyed industry that's corrupt, and the people standing there are like the chart, like us, the community, the chart raiders, the ones who are gonna break it, you know, and come out of it successful. And I always wonder, like, if I think it would be pretty cool if you ever thought about it, like just having like an open world kind of game in chart raiders where everyone's like in this lobby and there's a proximity voice chat with each other where everyone's, you know, chilling in this lobby and just talking through trades, which I'm assuming you probably thought of already. I don't know, just gamifying it more than, you know, it is right now.
So that's a key thing you said that I'll just briefly touch on, gamifying day trading. This is something that we've had a heavy stance on from day one. So the things you're talking about are things we've talked about already. So I don't want to reveal too much about what we're doing in the future, but these are definitely things we talk about on a very regular basis. Like exactly what you're talking about, having proximity, having group events, having gamified elements, having an open world concept. But those are tough things to do because you basically have to reinvent the industry, because we're not going to go and put it on like Meta and be like, oh, cool, we've got this like little landscape in Meta. Like, no, we're going to do things better, smarter, different. We're going to do things our way, not, you know, so like we have those conversations and it's like proximity chat. Well, proximity how, right? Proximity level wise, proximity physical location wise, proximity progression wise, right? So like we definitely have those discussions. So you'll be happy to know that these are things that we do talk about on a regular basis. All these gamified elements, everything where we're saying day trading needs to be fun. These are the things we're working on and the technologies that we're figuring out. So great comment, because it hits the nail on the head.
Yeah, I think that would be absolutely cool, you know, like, and as you watch lessons and you prove to the system that you have more knowledge, you can then unlock certain parts of the map to go into
Yep.
where there's even more exclusive people who you know, have all this knowledge. I definitely think that would be cool, while also being able to go into the places where the new beginners are. And my final question is, you always complain about trading view, and I'm not sure if you can answer this question, but uh I wanted to ask, you know, could chart raiders possibly be a charting platform or something along the lines of that?
We do have something along those lines in the works, and I'll
Mhm.
leave it at that. So
All
I
good.
complain let me put it this way. Every time I complain about something in our industry, the next thing I do is I go to iHevet and Jude and people, and I'm like, guys, we've got to make new tech. Like we've got to figure this out. So like, you can just, going forward in the future, whenever I'm complaining about something, it's usually a cookie crumb to things that we're already working on. So that's how I'll answer that question.
I mean, that definitely answers my question. I appreciate that.
Yep.
All right. Well, I mean, I appreciate it, man, and good luck. I'm definitely looking forward to the launch. I hope I make the alpha.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the kind comments, and we'll see you there. Just make sure you have your Mexi account, and yeah, man.
Always, brother. Good job.
Cheers.
You good, guys?
Thanks, man.
Gonna invite Ankind and Joalma, and then I'm gonna go through the text after those two. I'll invite them both at the same time, and whoever joins. Maybe we can do like 2 questions at once. Joalma, what's up?
Hey man, can
How's
you
it going,
guys
dude?
hear me right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey.
Yeah, because my mic has been bugging me out lately.
No, sounds good.
All right, cool. I just had one question.
Sure.
Which really like just it's been on my mind for a long time, like since I've been like starting to watch your shit.
Yeah.
Sorry for the cuss. Watch
You're
your
good, man.
stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just wanted to say like, what drives you? Like, what is your motivation? What is your reason you wake up every day at 4 a.m. and just be like, yeah, let's go, let's grab this whole industry by, you know where, and then just flip it all over around.
Yeah, so that goes back to my like the basis of why I started all this. I honestly just want to see all the shit burn. You know, pardon my language, but a part of me is really disgusted at what the day trading industry has become. Every time and so I'm a content creator, and you know, this is a decision that I made dating back 6 years ago. Like, you can't feasibly be a content creator and a day trader if you're going to take it seriously. You can be both if you don't care about either. So, you know, my standpoint, in my opinion, becoming a perfectionist at things and driving to the deepest corners of day trading to figure this stuff out, it was always the decision to be, am I going to be a full-time day trader? And that's what I originally started as. I never had a plan to be a content creator. And then one day, and I remember the exact moment, I was like, I should buy a microphone. And I was talking to my wife, and I said, I should buy a microphone and start teaching this stuff, because I would call, like, okay, even going back before that, I would call her from across outside, be like, come here, check this out. I just figured this out. And it would be like, this goes all the way back to like 2010, 2011, when I first started looking at the charts. And I remember being in university in my very early stages, and, you know, University 1 and poker's getting shut down and all this stuff was happening in the world. And then I remember like showing her this stuff, and I kind of came to this crossroad where I'm like, this can't be real. Like, and she didn't understand, because she's not a very mathematical, data-driven person. She's not like that. She doesn't have the same kind of mind I do. She's extremely intelligent in other ways. But when it comes to like explaining day trading charts, I just lose her in the mist, which is fine. That's like a lot of people. You try to talk to them about it, they won't get
That's
it
a
unless
good
they have an
balance,
interest.
right? I mean,
Yeah. So then
perfect.
I remember this moment where I told her, I said, I have to show the world what I've figured out. Like, I have to buy a mic. And I almost didn't become a content creator. There's almost no cotton candy, because I remember the exact house I was living in. I remember, because I have a photographic memory. So I remember stupid things like what color plate I ate my food off of that night. Like, really weird things that, and my kids have it too, actually. No, I've passed it down to them. Really weird things. And I remember exactly this moment where I said to her, I should buy a microphone and teach the world, because this stuff that I figured out is like, over the years that I've been doing this, is insane. And she didn't get it. And that's actually the very first moment where cotton candy was born, was this moment where I decided to go and buy a Blue Yeti mic, just a crappy Blue Yeti from Best Buy. And I did it that night. And then the next day I made my first video. And then ever since, that's been like a history in the making. It was cotton candy. And then it goes back to like, what gets me up in the morning is the exact same reason I started creating content, was because I wanted people to see the truth out there. I was making all this money day trading, and I wanted to be able to share that, because I was like, how do people not see this? How is this Like why is it so bad? Why is there nobody else like me out there that can understand this stuff? So then it just kind of got to that point, and I'm sure there are other contents out there as well, but you know, I don't spend my time looking for them. But you know what I mean? Like it was just this point of like, I need to help people and show them what I found. And it even dates back before that. Like I remember playing video games with my friends, like the original Warcraft 3 mod for Dota 1
Nice.
by Ice Frog. Like I remember playing Dota 1 Ice Frog and playing Demon Hunter, and it was like the most imbalanced shit. And I would just go to my friends and I'd be like, yo, look at this, I found this out, it's so cool. Or I'd play like Path of Exile in the beta. God, and that dates back how many years? That dates back to like 2012 or something. And just doing like builds and sharing those builds with friends and just like figuring things out and being smart and sharing them with friends kind of was even the origin before day trading, because I always just had this like cool thing where I could figure things out, but I didn't quite fit in, right? So like, and I have a video about that. So sharing these like deeper pieces of things that I could find kind of scratched something inside of me where like I didn't fit in with people, but if I could show them that I would understand things at a deeper level because of the way my mind works, then I could like share and have those moments in connectivity with other humans, right? So
do
that's
you
like
think, do you think this whole like community, sorry to interrupt you, do you think this whole
Yep.
community of like just what you built is basically what you've been ever dreaming of, right? Like that connectivity with people that have the same mindset, with the same ideas, and want to achieve broadly the same goals, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was ever the intention to build a community. I think it just snowballed from one thing to another. Like I think as I look back at how I started and where we are today, it was never this big sought out plan where I would be like, one day I'll be this influencer and I'll make a community and we'll do this and I'll, you know, like that was never on the plan. We just kind of adapt to it. But I think there's a part of it where, you know, sharing that with other people was really important. So whatever it would manifest into in a way was kind of just like, you know, the natural progression of things. So like why I do it every day is because I just want to share. And the longer I've been in this industry, the more things I see that I absolutely hate. So like the more influencers that come out to try to sell courses, the more people who basically repackage my content to make it this new material and then they sell it. They don't even change the chart colors anymore. How many times I've seen the famous cotton candy blue background with a white and blue candlesticks. And I don't have a problem with people using it, but when I see an influencer who has the exact same levels marked as me, a day after I streamed the levels with the same color charts as I do, and then they're also selling a course covering the same material, it just becomes this thing that really makes me want to like burn it all to the ground, because I see exactly what's happening in this industry. And it's kind of why I said earlier that like somebody has to save day trading. It's the industry will die because we're turning it into drop shipping like at a rapid rate. And so, you know, that's why I do it, is because I want to burn it all down so that we can have like a future for day trading. I want to be the person who saves day trading, because, and this might be over dramatic. This might be just my own brain, like dramatizing things. And I'm in my own like little world in my head. And I'm just this like crazy person. Fine, maybe. But from what I see, like day trading needs to be saved, and I want to be the person to save it. So that's why I do what I do.
So basically, you're the hero no one needed, but no one asked for, but everyone needed. Right?
Hopefully. I mean,
that's the end of story of Cotton Candy as it goes down with history and trading.
Hopefully. I mean, I don't like to grandiose myself in these terms like hero. I just want to create the stuff and just like let it, you know.
Of course.
Like the heroes out there, like the people who
show, Cotton Candy.
Yeah. Like people will save themselves, and this happens all the time. People will financially free themselves, and I don't need anything out of that. The fact that it's happening every day is enough that keeps me going. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to be grandiorized as a statue. I don't need to be this figure that, you know, saved it all. Like I don't need that. I just need people to follow my footsteps and let me show them so they can free themselves. Like good leaders, they don't stand in front of people telling them what to do. Good leaders walk behind their people so they can walk side by side with the weakest of them all. That's what a good leader does, is they walk with their people, not in front of them. So like I don't need the grandirization. Like, you know what I mean?
No, of course, yeah.
But like, yeah, to a point that's accurate. I would say that's accurate, just with my own little like flair on it, right?
Of course.
Yeah, man.
That's super sick. Well, thank you so much, and obviously thank you to everyone. It's amazing. Like this whole community you build up. You know, it's like, yeah, I don't know. There's no words to describe it, to be honest. Never been a part of such big thing. You know what I mean? I've tried everything, as you said, like drop shipping, everything.
Yep.
And it's always like, you know, a bit shady, a bit, you know, gray area, this and that.
Yeah.
And then obviously coming literally like I just found your stuff just a needle in a haystack. It
Thanks,
was-
man.
I think everyone here is just absolutely lucky. Like this is the luck part of success everyone needs, and then yeah, I don't know, it's pretty sick. So
Well, I think that's a
keep
pretty
doing
good thing to touch on is that, you know, we're a big community, but we're still small relative to the grand scale of things. And that's really a cool thing to be a part of. Like when you have the ability to be a part
Yeah.
of something so small from the beginning, it's like you were able to be there. And that's part of the reason I'm creating Chart Raiders is, you know, for the Discord community we have right now. These are the people, the names that you're looking at on your screen in this chat. Like these are some of the people that will be the biggest beneficiaries of Chart Raiders. Chart Raiders as a company and as a business will be hyper successful, but that's not the main thing. It's going to empower the people. Like Chart Raiders as a platform will generate everything from Twitch streamers or Kick streamers, whatever streaming platform people want to bet. It'll generate everything from streamers to people who want to commentate on matches, to people who want to make a living day trading. Like it is creating an industry in itself. Like it is creating opportunities for people. So business wise, Chart Raiders will be great. But then being
Yeah.
a community member of Chart Raiders also means that's career opportunities for people. That's setting them free, right? Like imagine one day you yourself, Joe Alma, you're in the Chart Raiders offices trading with the teams on camera, and you're a part of a day trading team, and it's like you get funded accounts by Chart Raiders, and you guys are a team, and you're getting recorded, and you get to make content out of it, and then maybe another person, I'll just pick a name, Visas47. Visas, hey man, what's up? Long time no see. Maybe he ends up becoming a commentator, and he's now a public figure for commentating these matches, and it starts a YouTube
That's so
career for him,
sick.
or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's going to be careers generated out of Chart Raiders. So like the people on the screen right now that you're looking at, these are the people who win. Like Chart Raiders has to be successful as a company. So the business must be successful. So beyond the business, it
Yeah, of
becomes this
course.
crazy platform where
And it just
everybody
creates
wins.
a lot of opportunities for everyone. Like
Yep.
so diverse. It's not only like
Absolutely.
okay, I can be a day trader. No, I can be everything around day trading. Just
And that's the
super
thing
sick.
too. Like you get gamers, and some gamers, they make careers out of streaming. They don't have the skills to become pro, or they're tired, or they get
Yeah.
old and their wrists start getting sore. Like they don't have the ability to always be pro gamers. Like there's more ways to be successful as a gamer than just being on a team like FaZe or 100 Thieves or Mythic or whatever. Like on any one of these teams, like you could be a commentator, you could be a streamer, you could be the player yourself. Like there's so much there, right? You could make fashion out of gaming. Like there's just so much there. You could become a graphic designer for gaming. It just opens a whole world for people, which yeah.
And sorry, I just popped another question in my head. I don't know if how much
Sure,
time
you can
I
do
have,
one more.
but
Yeah, of course, man.
um, so I was thinking, right, like I've been seeing your growth from 46,000 subscribers, I think it was, to now over like 70.
Yep.
Which obviously amazing.
Thanks, man.
And I was thinking, at what point do you think, like, imagine, right, 10 years down the line, which is a lot of time, but
Yep.
chart rate, this has been, it's like big, everyone is talking about it, no one is using indicators anymore. Do you think at one point the markets will be so like choppy to like okay, whole level, and then like super like aggressively um touching the levels that you teach basically because the science have has become so big and so
It's funny.
normalized as like the new standard?
I answered this question last night in exclusive chat, and I'll give the exact same answer for everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good, man. That's a good question to ask. So there's a shift right now. All the money that gets made in day trading happens from mostly the big funds, right? So the way I put it yesterday is a team can't dismantle one person, but one person can dismantle a team. And what that means is that you as a day trader have the power to be better than anybody else. Like you have the power to take money from big funds. And this is the shift that needs to happen in the industry. Big funds, imagine you have a hedge fund and you have 100 managers, and out of the 100 managers, they each have 10 people they manage, right? So you have 100 managers with 10 pseudo traders. So you have like 1,000 traders on your trading floor. One managing trader managing 10 people can never be as good and as sharp because they have to kind of jump between 10 other people, and 10 other people are always going to have different opinions. They're always going to have different ways they trade. One person is going to say short here. The next one's going to say, no, go greedy, or short here, long there, et cetera, right? So right now, the shift in the industry looks like this. Traders come in as singular units, and the teams and the bigger things like the hedge funds and the bigger trading organizations, they take money from singular people. But if we empower singular people to the point where they're smarter than a team, and it's very easy for one person to be smarter than a team because a team has a lot of conflicting opinions, that single person can dismantle a team, but a team can't dismantle one person. So a team of 10 people, it's the same thing. A team of 10 people can dismantle 10,000 people because in smaller units and smaller numbers, we have more concise decisions. So a team of hedge fund traders can dismantle the industry, right? Because they are saying like, oh, everybody's using indicators. We can take advantage of them because there's thousands of them, but only 10 of us. You take that one layer deeper where there's one of you, like one Cotton Candy, one Joalma, one Ihivet, one Jude. We can now take money from that group of 10. So there's a shift that happens. And that's where the science is so powerful, because when you empower people on a singular level, what happens is instead of people taking money from other singular bad people, we're starting to shift that balance away from funds and trading groups and these larger groups. We're now taking that balance away from them and we're dismantling them. So what we're doing is we're shifting the balance and the dynamic of where that money exists in the market. So now no longer do we have hedge funds and big banks as the controllers of the market. We have smart individuals who have the power to say, I can dismantle you. So that's where that shift comes from. And that's why the science will never go out of date, because it's been here for 200 years already, longer than that. Just because people learn it doesn't mean that it will change. Our science and our rules in what we do, it's the reason why we go to university. We teach people how to think. We don't give them by this whole level every time, because no, we teach them how to think because there's like 100 theories that's used on the charts and they all kind of go through like a cyclical process. Sometimes it's origin levels, sometimes it's reverse levels, sometimes it's floating levels, sometimes you have to find the trail. So that's the thing, right? Is that the science will never change, but how we use it on a day-to-day basis will adapt constantly, as it has been for 200 years. But as long as we understand all the concepts, we know which one to apply for that time period. So that's where that shift comes from. We start taking money from the power players and we shift it back to the people. And it helps. Like, it helps to start clean the industry as well. It helps to start purge, and it bleaches all the mold off of the industry, which is what we need.
Right, because that's literally just like at the end of the day, they're just taking advantage of easy money that's in the markets right now. Everyone that's using like those indicators and whatever and whatnot. That's
when things like SMC and ICT blow up, you know how good that is for hedge funds, for trading groups, for banks. So when one of these things that aren't like, it's also one of the reasons my content has been shadow banned in the past, because my content deals directly in the theoretical and the application layers of trading. We create theory and we create theory layers and we create application layers, very much like we do in university. And we teach people how to think. We don't tell them buy this hold level every time, because we teach them how to think.
Theories,
because those theories are ever evolving and adapting. And this is when you see like SMC blows up, like hedge funds, they love this. They're just waiting. When RSI blew up, groups of traders behind the scenes were just like rubbing their hands together, waiting to just line their pockets.
Yeah,
so like every time one of these false sciences gets popularized, it's one more stab to the corpse that they're creating that's day trading. So every time one more of these concepts come out, and if it keeps happening, it's going to get to a point where it's like, that's part of where day trading dies. Right. So that's why we need that to happen. That's another thing, like that shift of balance and power. We need more smart individual people to challenge these systems that have oppressed us.
Which is way better, because with oppression and with like a change of easy money is going away in the markets and there's smarter people coming, meaning that those bigger guys also need to act way smarter, basically improving the whole market. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the thing about my science is it's stripped down to such a point where the accuracy is to the dollar that there is no more advancement to make. Like when we're in exclusive tier, when we're in mentorship, like the things we do in mentorship, and Jude and Ihivet can attest to this because they're there in the mentorship lessons. Like we're nailing trades 5 days out to the dollar because this stuff is all so explainable. We'll be like, oh, take a long here at this exact price, and it hits and it fires and it's perfect. Like, I don't know if I can do a screen share on here. Do you guys know if we can screen share? No, but you know what I can do? I can toss these pictures in the chat. Hold on, I'm going to toss some of the pictures from mentorship just to give you guys an example. Like here's one that we did yesterday at 7 a.m. before the dump happened. And we called this out for like, God, I don't know how long it was. We were talking about this for like days before. So that was one of them that fired off and hit for mentorship. And like, we're nailing this stuff. Here's another one back from the end of May. Here's another one that we did. And like, we're doing this almost daily in mentorship, right? And so like, this is the thing. You cannot get more accurate than this. Like, it doesn't exist, right? So there is no more, oh, let's make the next advancement to find, oh, SMC is coming out. Good. Now we know how to be ahead of SMC. You can't be ahead of quantum science because it is to the point where it's so accurate. And we're using purely theory and application-based layers. And that's the difference. We're not teaching strategies. We're not teaching, and this is something I go over in mentorship, so something a lot of people aren't familiar with. We have something called +1 - 1. +1 - 1 falls under the umbrella of comparative analysis. So back when I was first engineering all this stuff, I realized that we had theoretical layers in day trading and we had application-based layers. So +1 - 1 is a theory that will come out in chart raiders where we use timeframes as an application-based theory, and application-based theory meaning that depending on what happened a few candles prior, that application adjusts. And then there's theory-based, right? So that's the difference. And that's why you cannot get more accurate than a quantum science, because it strips it down to such a point where the exact theories have to exist. They cannot exist outside of that. And so like the 2 screenshots I put, these were trades that were engineered like long before. These were just the after clips of saying, and the context was like, oh, great start to the week. I hope we all took that trade. Target was perfect. Please manage carefully. That's the exact message that was in the thing. So we're engineering these trades 4 or 5 days in advance because we know exactly where they're going, every single stopping point, because the science has been ripped to such a point where we can explain everything on the charts without any flaw. And this is what's happening in exclusive tier. What's so powerful in exclusive tiers, you have people like Nuke and Jude and Ihivet and traders making it in there. We have a lot of exclusive tier members in here right now. Well, they'll probably agree with this too and just say like, yeah, it's 100% true. This is such a special thing about exclusive tier, because they're getting to a point in there and that they're not even in mentorship, and they're getting to a point in there where they're able to catch these knives and see it 5 days in advance, and they know. And it's just like, you cannot engineer it further than that. There is nothing left. Right? But to get to that point in trading is such a long journey. It's so much sacrifice. You know what I mean? Like, so like you cannot supersede the quantum science, because it's stripped down to a layer of theory and application based, which is your core layers of any foundational education. And thankfully I went to university for 11 years. So I understand this in great depth about that. So kudos to my university for that.
Yeah, exactly. Because imagine like you wouldn't had that experience of uni. You might have been, one of those guys that just be like, oh yeah, buy when the RSI hits this.
Maybe, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Either that or I still would have been playing Counter-Strike and WoW, one of the two.
Oh, you still play? Oh man.
Okay, Joalma, thanks for the questions, man.
Thank
Great
you so
talking with
much.
you.
You're really inspire a lot of us. I'm speaking for everyone here in the call, I'm sure. So thank you so much, and very excited for everything.
Thanks, dude. Cheers, man.
See you,
Bye.
man.
Ciao.
Ihivet, Jude, you guys have anything you want to say? I'm going to keep running through chat here.
There's a question in the chat that I wanted to tackle, and it bounced off of something you discussed there.
Sure.
As when Tempest asks a little bit about, can we go over like what chart raiders, how it like interact with streamers and stuff? I mean, obviously more on that definitely in the future in terms of like the esports things and stuff. But just for now, so this is backing off of the conversation where you said there's lots of opportunities, people in the community here that, they're early. And I just want to stress that point. Like, if there's like any opportunities in this community, just like jump on them. So in the exclusive tier right now, people are able to create and submit clips to the new series 100 Trades in Review. That's just one example. Submit as many clips, get your name out there, and like stream on, Twitch. Put your link in your bio in the Discord, and just like, if you're interested in media, just get yourself out there, because the more things you do and the more active you are in the community, you're very early. Chart Raiders hasn't even come out yet, so your name could carry forward, and that could be a very valuable thing for you in the future. So
that's a great point, actually, Jude.
Yeah, so there's like, I've seen like Blank in exclusive tier. He's the first one that's submitted a trade clip. I know he's been making some YouTube videos. I've seen other people who have been streaming, and they've sent me their links and stuff. And we're going to do like big events around things like that in the future. So that's to be announced. But there's going to be lots of community events. So there's going to be lots of benefit for people who want to get involved in sort of content and media. So go ahead, start early.
Yep, absolutely. That's like a really good point, because you know what, if Chart Raiders is successful, it'll be the platform that supports day trading going forward in the future. So if it's successful and it like imagine being able to have the foresight that Twitch, and I'm not saying we're going to be as big as Twitch, but I'm saying that you have to take a chance on these things sometimes. Imagine having the foresight on Twitch back when it was Justin TV. I used to watch Summit 1G back on Justin TV doing like Counter-Strike Source, like CS 1.6 Source, and like surfing and on Justin TV, and that's how Summit got so big, because he was one of the earliest adopters. Imagine being able to know that the platform that's about to come out will one day be this huge thing. Like you could fast forward 5 years past when Twitch got its name as Twitch, and you were still in the infancy of becoming a streamer. Now it's much harder to become a streamer, but imagine being able to have that foresight to be a streamer back when Justin TV was Justin TV. And like that's kind of the same thing. We're so early in Chart Raiders, and Chart Raiders is going to be this huge company, hopefully, as long as it's successful. But honestly, guys and girls, it's going to be like it's gone too far. It's too good of a product now to go back. Like imagine being able to have that right from ground zero. So like it's just like Jude is saying, if you're wanting to have anything to do in media, imagine streaming, and all of a sudden I host you and I have like anywhere from 300 to 500 people, and that's relatively big for day trading streams, to be honest. Like we don't have a big day trading community in Twitch and stuff like that, but hopefully Chart Raiders will change that, because we're going to create an esports scene with teams and storylines and stuff like that that's actually going to start helping put that in. But imagine you're making clips and all of a sudden I host you. That could be the start of a Twitch career for somebody, right? Because I'm going to be looking to host people. I'm going to be getting back into streaming. I'm going to be saying like, oh, we'll just pick a name off the screen, Sticky. Oh, Sticky's streaming, let me host him. That could be the start of a whole entire career, or getting your first 500 people, right? Like that's a big deal, right? So like there's going to be a lot of opportunities to open YouTube channels, to open, I'll be looking at people who do Chart Raiders materials, and I'll be doing like weekly videos on Chart Raiders in the dev corner. We have like this whole section for developer videos, and I'm going to be going and looking at community members videos and saying like, hey, let's look at Sticky's video, he just did this thing, let's check him out. And then having my 100,000 or 200 or however big my reach is, a couple 100,000 people all of a sudden know who Sticky is, right? Like that, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. So I would just applaud people for participating, for just being a part of things, because like we're watching, like Jude's watching, Ivette's watching, I'm watching, we're watching people and what they do, because we're having those discussions of who should be in the esports. Should we approach people? Should we go out of our way to hire somebody to run a team? Like we're having those discussions, right? So, I think it's a really good thing that people, like, if they like that kind of stuff, that they just kind of even start thinking about. Because honestly, too, the other thing is it takes time to learn how to be a content creator. You need to have lighting set up. You need to have professional audio. You need to be able to understand how to work with equalizers, be able to understand how to work with audio and video filters. I don't use any video filters, but I use audio filters to make my voice cleaner, so it doesn't pick up on clips and, little white noise and clicking and things like that. You need to know how to speak. Like, God, I remember taking vocal lessons to control my breathing and things like that when I was becoming a content creator. So, becoming a content creator is not about turning on your camera. It's a professional skill set, and that takes time. So, for those people who are starting to do that now, like obviously they have a huge advantage in that as well. SM, I think I kind of mostly answered your question about like modded trading view and stuff like that. Anything else that I haven't answered is not something I will answer, just because it's stuff that I haven't released to the public yet. Does Chart Raiders contain more MA stuff? Yeah, absolutely. Just running through the questions here. Going to be integrated inside of TradingView. No comment. GateX not working. We'll be using GateX soon. Ultimate deadline. Don't have a specific deadline, Hassan. It's going to be coming soon, though. I've been saying that for a while. Hopefully within 2 weeks we'll have the alpha launch, but I want to make sure that, like I said earlier in the call, that all technologies are fitted properly, so that this is not a bad release. Skill tree is going to be free, yes. You'll have to progress through it, and you can pay to progress yourself, or you can just do like events and stuff like that. I talked about it earlier in the video in great depth, and I'm going to upload this so people can rewatch it. Thank you, Cotton. You're welcome, Spy. Estimated release dates are this month for alpha, and then June, July, beginning of August for beta. Estimated. Create an account with MEXC, and then go to chartraiders.com and sign up for the alpha. Skill tree will have everything. Matt, will there be bonuses? Yep, there will be. Tied to what team you're on? There will be, for sure. Marcus is saying something. Here we go. The underlying broker prop firm is MetaTrader 4 or 5. You could probably just support everything by linking MT directly. That was desired. Possible, yep. new Mexi signups are no longer supporting Canada in the US. So this is like a landscape of like this is a landscape of governments, not the exchanges that are doing this. So it's being very much the same as all exchanges are having the same thing roll out. So nope, I'm not worried about it too much. Like whatever the regulations are going to be or what they're going to be, and you know, people can VPN or do whatever they need to do, or not VPN, or you know, not something I can advise on. The hero no one needed. Good save. Just want to say thank you. Thanks, Lero. So glad he mentioned the drop shipping thing. I did this as a teenager and I just had to drop it because it felt so exploitative. Yep. Turn to trading because of me. Trading is now the same. Everyone's just selling their own trash. Yep, it's so true. You can see it. Like I've seen it for a long time. And if somebody needs to save it, like that's, they can just go back to what, you know, SM is talking about. Like somebody needs to save day trading, and I'm hoping Chart Raiders is that person. Can't thank you enough, Cotton. You're welcome, man. And you know what? I just want to comment on the fact that people aren't allowed to sign up on Mexi in the US and Canada anymore. This is something we always consider, and you know why I don't like to kind of put my eggs all in one basket with any one exchange, because these are things we always consider, because the landscape of these different exchanges will always be changing, and we can't, as Chart Raiders as a company, I can't control whether an exchange is operating above or below board in gray areas, and I can't control what they do to make themselves be authenticated in these different countries. So that's not a side of the business I care to get into. I build Chart Raiders, and then we moved this exchange to that exchange here. If today we're using MEXC and in 2 weeks we switch to, I don't know, pick an exchange, Bybit or BitMEX. If in 2 weeks we switch to BitMEX, you will have no visible difference other than the account that you log in with. Everything you do will be on Chart Raiders, not on the exchanges in the future. To start, for the alpha launch, of course, you're going to have to be on the exchange because those pieces aren't quite ready yet, but we are re-landscaping the visual approach to day trading. So like whether it's on MEXC, BitMEX, BitGet, Binance, KuCoin, I don't know, Rainbow Exchange, whatever exchange you're on, it's not going to matter for your Chart Raiders experience. It's simply just the accounts and how you have them connected. And somewhere in your settings menu, it'll just tell you which accounts you have connected, and that's it. It's as simple as that. So, you know, we can't, as a business for Chart Raiders, we can't advise on these exchanges and tell people what to do and what not to do. We just have a list of exchanges we support, and it just ends up being, basically for us, the exchange ends up just being a wallet, and that's it. It's as simple as that. It just becomes a wallet that people use to hold their crypto, and we API to it, and everything you do is on Chart Raiders. So the exchange for us, it doesn't even matter in the end. Just to put people's minds at ease, one day we might support every exchange in the industry. We might have 50 exchanges connected, but for now, and then we might be able to say like, oh, based on your geographical location, this is the ones that we would recommend. But for now, it's like, yeah, we keep this in mind, and we constantly just developing our side of the tech, because on the back end, on the coding and development side, like APIs, back end tech, that it takes time, right? So nothing to worry about there. Just join MEXC for now, and if you know, we have to make a change in the future, it's very simple for us to just flip a switch, and a week later we have a new exchange on board. What it's like to chew 5 gum. Okay, Spy. How do you know if you're selected for alpha? We're going to start an email campaign when we select people, but again, I'm just going to go over this again because it's really important. Right now, the people who will be selected for alpha, the way it's working is this. First off, the most important metric is your tier on Patreon, because we want people who are active community members who show a commitment. And this is from a business standpoint, this is because we want good quality feedback during our development phase before the public gets a release. So when we look at the list of people who have applied to be on the alpha, I want a diverse group of people, which means there's going to be some people from the mentorship tier in there. There's going to be some people from exclusive. There's going to be some people from advanced plus, from normal advanced, and some non-patron members as well. So every single bracket, we have a certain amount of spots sorted for. Right? So like obviously the bigger tiers, they have more spots allocated for them. But then even people who aren't on Patreon, I still want them to be a part of the alpha. And when we're onboarding, I'm taking a look at accounts and saying, okay, this is, and I'll pick whoever, Alex, Aleks. I'll pick him, for example. Alex is in the community. He's been here for this long. He talks this much to people, and he's trading all the time. Is he a good fit for someone that we can reliably use them for feedback? So we're including them in the alpha and giving them special bonuses and rewards. And also, and as a return, we need to make sure this is like a functional community member who's doing trading often, who's communicating, who we know and can see. So we have kind of like a set amount of spots for each different bracket on Discord and Patreon. But then at the same time, we also cross-check those names to see who makes sense in terms of community commitment and communication, because we need that feedback, and who's also trading, because we want to make sure that not only can they give us good quality feedback, but they're actually trading on the platform, so that it opens more conversations for us to have with those people. And then we reward them by giving them certain things on chart raiders. So it's kind of a really nice way to do things and keep people involved. And that's the kind of metric for getting inside the alpha. So there's like a pretty nice way that it happens, and a nice metric to get in the alpha, but that's kind of the way that it happens. So like I can only stress that if you don't have the MEXC account, like sign it up right now as soon as this AMA is over and start trading on that account, because that's one of the metrics I look at when I'm deciding who's coming into the alpha, because I need to make sure they're trading on the exchange so that they can give me meaningful feedback on how everything's interacting, right? So that's like number one, get on MEXC, use a link, sign up an account. If you don't know if you're signed up, just make a new account. There's no downfall to making a brand new MEXC account. Just transfer your money from wallet to wallet. It's completely free. It doesn't cost you anything when you transfer from within MEXC to another MEXC account. You can just do like an internal transfer. It's there within minutes. In 10 minutes, you could have a new account with your funds on there from your old account. So if you're not sure if you have that, just make a new account. There's no downfall to it. Literally no downfall. The only downfall is you'd have to close positions that you have open. That's it. Straight up happy Tempest. That's hype, man. That's good. Still muddling through these questions. There's a lot. This AMA turned out to be pretty big. Can everyone get in on a team? Yep. Yes, 3CS Lounge, you got crypto. Oh my God. Buying cases, dude, case gambling. You're OG. Am I still deciphering the industry? Not really. There's always little things that I figure out, but I figure I have most of it figured out. I figure it looks like this. I have 95% of it figured out, and I've released roughly half of what I know. That's the way I see it. Don't have my word 6 years gratitude for you. All you've been putting for the common people. You don't even know this community. You spent years in content creation, release this on YouTube so that anyone can benefit. You're an inspiration, Sensei. Thanks, man. Who knows how many souls you've helped by this kind of effort of yours. I know for a fact that I, along with many more, will always be indebted to you. Thanks a lot. You're welcome, man. Thanks for the nice comment, Hassan. I really appreciate it. It's one of the reasons I do this is to free people. So I might quickly skim past these kind of comments, but they're the fuel that keeps me running. So thank you so much, Hassan. I haven't been in a proper trade for over 2 weeks now. Join exclusive tier. They'll tune you right up. You'll be yep. What's the one piece of advice that I would tell myself? And as a beginner and not profitable, start small, trade with low amounts of money, and take 500 trades with low amounts of money. That way, the impact of losing money is nothing, but the experience you get is invaluable. That's the number one thing I would tell myself. I actually just made a TikTok on this. I haven't released it yet, but it's coming out in the next week or two. So I recorded like 19 TikToks, so I had free time to develop. Jude, Yvette, anything you guys want to add? I think we're about to wrap up here. Looks like we kind of made it through all the questions. We've been at this for an hour and a half now, and yeah.
I think you got most of it, man.
Yep. I read through all the questions as well. We're looking good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, everyone, thanks so much for being here. The first AMA for Chart Raiders. Keep tuned. Obviously, we've started the machine to push out content and everything. So this is something that's happening pretty soon. We're just very quiet about it, but just be ready, because in the snap of a fingers, things will come out and it'll be flying and launched, and everything will change. The whole world will be on its head. And I myself, just as a little side personal note for Chart Raiders, I myself am looking to move to Portugal or somewhere alike. Probably Portugal, to open up Chart Raiders offices. So if we have any people who are in Portugal, the team will see you soon, because Jude and Yvette and a lot of the people who are working for the Chart Raiders team will be with us. So like if you're in Portugal, warm up that handshake, because it's coming. Okay, everybody. Cheers. Have a good day. And anybody who missed any of this, I'm going to be uploading it on YouTube. I'll chop it up and edit it and upload it. So cheers.